running that intro, dang. Woo! Eureka.
We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day, yeah. We make plays every day.
We going back to the AFC East on this one.
Every day, yeah. We make plays every day.
We about to turn up on this one.
We make plays every day.
We're turning all the way up on this one.
Plays every day.
Hey,
Every
hey.
day, yeah.
Welcome to the Real Fantasy Playmakers. I am your host, Bogard, scot-free, and we're just gonna jump right into it, cause we turning all the way up. We turning this thing all the way up, and I want to introduce our special guest host for the night. It's my man Joe. Turn up the Jets. Boom. Hey!
Yo, dude, what is good? I appreciate you having me. Super stoked to be on here.
Hey, man, we're stoked to have you, bro. Stoked to have
Yeah,
you.
dude. Absolutely. All love. Appreciate you finding me, through the rough and Instagram.
Oh, man, I'll be
showing love to
searching
my
far and
content.
wide. Search far and wide, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, and it's crazy, too, man, because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like, I'm one of those dudes where it's like, if somebody follows me, I'll definitely follow them back, especially if I enjoy the content. And then it's crazy because now I'm finding myself where I got to start, like, adding favorites so I can make sure I don't miss anybody's posts. You know what I mean? Because I'm following so many people. You get what I'm saying? Where I'm like, I got to always make sure that I'm showing support to the content that I get value from as well. Because I definitely get value from your page, and I know you got some more content on the way, and we're gonna get to that. And before we get to that, 2 orders of business. 1, take a sip of this vodka one time.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then 2, we're gonna handle this housekeeping. Follow us on IG and Twitter. That's at the GMM Network. Follow me also on IG at Bogard Scott Free World. Make sure to subscribe to the GMM Network on YouTube. And also make sure to subscribe to us at the Rum Boys Fantasy Network, also as well on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Also, for all your merch, check out rumboyz.com. That's RUMBOYZ.com. And shout out to our sponsor, Milk and Honey. For all your CBD wellness and all your CBD goodness, visit www.milkandhoneytx.com. Now, where can they find my man Turn Up the Jets?
Yeah, man. So currently I'm on Instagram and newly to YouTube. On Instagram, I'm at turn_up_the_Jets with 2 S's, as well as on YouTube. I'm on Turn Up the Jets, all one word. And you also find my link in my Instagram bio, so you can find me on Instagram and YouTube. Like to post, probably almost every day on Instagram, 1 video a week on YouTube. So I've been kind of working through things on the YouTube, kind of getting used to it. So super pumped about that and see where that goes.
I'm excited for you. I remember last time we had spoke off air. Yeah, I remember you had you kind of gave me a kind of a spoiler alert. You're like, yo, the channel's coming, and we're gonna be sure to put all the links in the description of this video, and what we have in store for you, fine playmakers out there, is we're breaking down the New York Jets. My man Joe. He's a faithful Jets fan, and ironically, he's living in Massachusetts. So I definitely, before we get to breaking down the Jets and the Jets draft class and the 2020 Jets outlook as we we might expect, right? I want to just know a little bit more about what Joe Turn Up the Jets. You know what I mean? I want you to. Let the playmakers know a little bit about your background.
Yeah, man. So, like you said, ironically, I come from Patriot country. I lived there my whole life, and and people ask me, why the hell are you a Jets fan, man? When you're with the 6 rings and the dynasty, but when I was a young kid, I watched the game. I loved the game. I played the game. And I saw one guy on my television screen. That was Curtis Martin.
Ooh.
And man, that guy was a beast, and I looked up to him. He was great on and off the field. I loved his presence. Like I said, on and off the field, he was just a real dude, and probably one of the best running backs of all time. So I'd seen him on TV when I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and I just said, man, I want to be like Curtis Martin. Like, that guy is a beast, and he leads by example. And
did you play running back because of him too, as well, or like what position did you play when you were younger?
Yeah, man. So I was everywhere. When I was younger, I was a lineman. I was a little heavier, and then once I got older, towards high school, I started to be like, I always wanted to be a running back, and then I played running back, played a little wide receiver, but I always wanted to play running back like Curtis Martin. And I got jerseys, cards, posters, everything, you name it. And he was always my guy. So ironically, I fell in love with the Jets. And the thing I love about the Jets, especially being younger, and it's just kind of like, it wasn't the full-on dynasty yet. They probably had 1 or 2 rings, but I like the Jets being those underdogs, man. And I like those underdogs, and they had their years. I've seen some great years. I've seen some terrible years. So I've been around the block long enough to know what comes with being a Jets fan. So
I remember all the eras as well, man. From Butt Fumble to Geno Smith, and you know what I'm saying. Even before that, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, man. Martin was nasty though. He was, dude. Yeah, and I love. I mean, because he wasn't. I mean, he had a little bit of both. He could finesse. He could, he can get dirty. You know what I'm saying? He could, he was a banger as well. You know what I mean? Like, he was dope. Yeah, he's someone I definitely remember.
Dude, and all I remember as a kid is Chris Berman, Curtis, my favorite Martin. That was, that shit hyped me up. So, Curtis Martin was the dude. So I've always been a big fan of his. And then through, I fell in love with Pennington. I just fell in love with that team. And then ever since then, I've been ride or die Jets no matter what. And people ask me, why the hell are you still a Jets fan? You can come to the dark side. But hey, I mean, I see light now with no Brady, no Gronk. There's a little light in the tunnel now for my Jets, so we'll see.
You know what? I for one want to say that I commend you and I respect that, because like sticking to your guns it's what it's about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't be sheep. It's easy to be sheep when you're in New England, you know what I'm saying, or the New England area where motherfuckers is just, they were just the cream of the crop, you know what I mean? And it's like, Now we might enter an era where we might see them and see how true their fandom is. You know what I mean? Like life after Brady and Gronk and maybe, you know what I'm saying? I mean, how many years do we really think Belichick got? Maybe 6 or 7 more at most. I mean, I also have this theory that Belichick is like, he already, just like the evil emperor in Star Wars, that he'll figure out a way to continue to clone himself. You know what I mean? And stick around.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or do like soul, conscience transfer. You know what I mean? His mind and soul into another vessel, and just continue to reign his terror. But you know what? All right. So, you know what I mean? You did mention too that you're working with the MLB, you said, right? Or the minor leagues, right?
Yeah, so right now I'm actually working for the AA affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Nice.
They're located in New Hampshire. Yeah, man, I mean, I studied sport management in college. Sports has always been a passion. Football and baseball, most definitely.
So you're like on the analytics side.
A little bit. I mean,
nice.
That's the goal. But right now I'm like in the sales side. I'm starting off fresh. So like I said, baseball, football, like that's what I'm targeting. I played ball at college as well, baseball out in New Hampshire. So right now I'm starting to get settled in that sales setting, and hopefully to, build up my resume, and climb up those rankings, and someday maybe to be like, you know, a general manager type thing. That, you know, that's the ultimate goal.
Hey man, Playmakers. See, I want to point something out. He's a man with a plan, and sometimes you gotta roll your sleeves up, get your hands dirty, and start from the bottom and work your way up. But he is goal orientated. He has aspirations of one day becoming a GM, and hopefully one day we can look back on your feature hosting gig right here on the GMM network, and I'll be able to claim the fame. Like, yeah, man, I remember when he was on my show and he proclaimed it. You know what I'm saying? But all right, well, ma'am, shall we? Let's turn up the Jets, right?
Let's turn it up, baby.
Let's turn it up. All right. Let me get a little bit more of this vodka real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and go in chronological order. I know a lot of people when you know with the first round, and the absence of one Robbie Anderson, who I used to call the string bean or the green bean. That was my nickname for him. You know what I mean? I loved Robbie Anderson, the green bean. You know what I mean?
Me too, man.
And like, so I know a lot of people were expecting a Jerry Jeudy there or even a CeeDee Lamb because they actually still existed in the draft at that time. But I just want to know your initial reaction when you guys went with Beckham.
Yeah, man. You know, I talk to a lot of Jets fans, even though I'm in Massachusetts. But you know, Instagram gives me that you know, kind of place to go.
Instagram, give me money.
Yeah, seriously. I've met some good friends, you know, that are online that are Jets fans, and I know everyone wanted that, you know, that sexy pick, that CeeDee Lamb, that Jerry Jeudy, that Henry Ruggs. But honestly, man, like, I kind of expected it. At first, we heard all those crazy rumors. I made videos, too, about that all the offensive tackles are going to be gone. Yeah. What are the Jets going to do? They might be forced to take a wide receiver. But at the same time, man, I think, you know, this made sense. It really did because, you know, when you have a guy like Sam Darnold, you got to protect him first. And everyone always thinks weapons are going to make a quarterback thrive in this league.
Man,
but
how are you going to get to the weapons, right? How are you going to get the ball to them, right? You feel me?
Exactly. The way I think is if he's on his back, how is he going to throw to a weapon, you know? So, you know, Becton was, I think, an outstanding pick. You know, 6'7", 364 pounds. The dude's just a straight up brick wall. And you know what's crazy? He ran a sub 5'1", 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
Guys that big, they tend not to move that quickly. So,
that's what you want in the pocket because you guys are going to be playing twice against the Bills, who are going to be sending a lot of pass rush. You guys are going to be playing against, the Patriots, where like these motherfuckers were basically having Darnold see ghosts. You know what I mean? Where it's like you're gonna need Beckham is gonna. You know what I mean? You need someone like that who can move in the pocket as well. You know what I mean? Like and for a man that size, and man, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You see his pops. His pops is huge, bro.
You would think he was getting drafted, and then Makai stands up. He's double his height. It's like, holy dude, these are some big people.
You ain't lying.
It wasn't like a pick that you get up and you scream about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that sexy pick, but in terms of what the Jets want to do, it really was. And just breaking down a little bit, it was like.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
The wide receiver depth in this draft was it was really good.
I think
so
there was like
made sense.
40. I want to say there was like 41 like notable receivers like that can go within the top 3 rounds, and I think like 36 of them actually ended up going off the board by the end of the draft. So I mean, it wasn't necessarily. It wasn't. You guys, the scarcity at linemen was definitely apparent versus the abundancy of receiver. So you know what I mean. I think a needs pick was definitely what you guys went with, and some of the disgruntled Jets fans that I've talked to, they were like, well, Wirf was there. And at the end of the day, it's like, well, Wirf is like he's more like a tackle, if anything. And you guys have a handful of tackles. You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, what I mean, I think going with the guard in Beckham was way better because essentially he's probably gonna be at left guard. You know what I mean? And protect that blind spot for my man Darnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I'm saying? The Terminator himself. And low key, I think my opinion is he's probably the better run blocker out of the top 4 linemen. You know what I mean? And like
absolutely.
Yeah, and even though Adam Gase is, you know, sometimes it's like, what the fuck is he doing? He does try to get the run game going, and like I think this immediately puts value for Le'Veon Bell because, you know, from a fantasy perspective, Le'Veon Bell's been going like, you know, the back of the 3rd, mid 4th round in 12-team redraft leagues. And, you know what I mean? Like, because, you know, so many people were picking him up at the 1-2 turnaround last season, you know, late 1st, early 2nd round. And a lot of those people are pissed. So I'm not giving up on Le'Veon Bell. He still finished as like a back end RB1, you know, essentially a high RB2. So, you know what I mean? There's still value there. And this, you know, Beckham's going to, you know, help get that run game going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, a guy like Mekhi Becton, I do see him more as a tackle, to be honest with you. Yeah. But he could play both sides, and that's something that.
Oh, my bad. Really I had that backwards. I'm sorry. I had that backwards. Where Wirf was a guard, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're right. No, okay, continue. See, this is why I bring on my resident Jets expert. You know what I'm saying?
I got you, bro. And yeah, absolutely. I had rankings. You know, I was crazy prepared for this draft, and you know, I actually had my top 4 were Jedrick Wills, who ended up going to the Browns, yep. Andrew Thomas, who ended up going to the Giants, and then I went Mekhi Becton and then Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, and they were in that order. That's how they got drafted too. So. Yeah, man, my hat's off to you. You know what I'm saying? I like your rankings right there because it actually panned out like that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I think just the Becton pick, he's got so much potential, man. He has the crazy athleticism, the size, the strength. And if anyone was watching the draft and you saw his highlight tape, I mean, my goodness, he was just throwing around guys like
one-handed.
One-handed. These are defensive ends from the SEC and the ACC and, you know, the Big Ten. Like, these are legitimate dudes that he's just throwing around.
I can't lie. I watched a little bit. You know, I went through the Jets. I knew I was going to get on with you, so I went through the Jets draft class and watch you know, a little bit of tape just to get a little more familiar. And bro, you said it best. He was throwing them around like pillows, B. Like that shit was crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't even fair.
He's gonna be like Pac-Man eating up them ghosts that Darnold was seeing. You feel me?
Seriously, dude. And I was in presence of that ghost game. That was an interesting experience. I was there.
Oh, that's right, because you're in New England. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were there, but you know, that's a game to forget about. But yeah, like I said, Becton just has that potential, man. You know, he just has raw abilities. I think that's what the Jets saw: his strength, his athleticism, his power. The only concern I have would be his like overall technique. But I mean,
that's something that can be taught. You could.
Oh,
yeah. Like he is a bit of a raw talent, but man, I mean, you know, you already know, man. That's, you know, it's just like someone who comes in the game with like fumbling issues. You could fix that. That's not forever. You know what I mean? Same thing with like you said, with a little bit of his, you know, being rough around the edges. They'll be able to smooth that out. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. That's something that can be worked on. And now, I love the pick. I see him as a legitimate tackle for the future. And that's what the Jets are trying to do. You got to protect Sam Darnold. You can't, you know, in that ghost game.
He's young, man. He's young, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Only going into his 3rd year. What is he, 22? 23?
He's 22 right now. He'll be 23 in the beginning of the year. But like youngest quarterback ever to start a game. Never mind, he started most of that season. He's just young. He's raw. He needs protection. And when he was back at USC, it was the same thing. He had no protection. He's scrambling out of the pocket. When he could sit comfortably in the pocket, and with a guy like Becton on his side, I think he has a pretty good chance to really thrive in this league. And that's what I'm saying over the sexy wide receiver pick. He needs to be on his feet to make those plays. And I think he's that good that he could make other plays better if he is not sacked and pressured as much as he's been.
Well, okay, speaking of the sexy pick that everyone wanted, as far as position-wise, talking about referring to receiver. In the second round, you guys went and got my man, Denzel Mims. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. You feel me? And
oh, dude.
You know what? If this draft class wasn't so fucking goddamn deep with receivers, he might have been the back of the first round pick for real.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely what I had in my notes too. Like, he would be an easy first round caliber talent in another draft, and he just fell right on the Jets' lap. So the Jets actually traded down to the 59th pick with the Seattle Seahawks. So they traded their.
And still got their man.
And they still got him, yeah. They traded the 48th overall to get the 59th, an additional third-rounder, which ended up turning out to be the 101 pick, and they still got this dude. This was the pick that I was just super excited about.
And Mims is, if there is a knock on him, you could say, he had a drop problem. But, I still feel like, his build and his explosiveness, you know what I mean? He's a field stretcher. He could be used as an X receiver even, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of upside, and I think for him as a receiver, and you guys got him at an incredible value. So, I for one like it, and I think he's gonna be a day one starter, obviously, because who else you guys got there? You guys got Jamison Crowder, Quincy Enunwa, and look at Jamison Crowder, straight up slot receiver. Quincy Enunwa, he's essentially like built like a tight end. You know what I mean? And so Mims is gonna be that solidified outside threat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And they also snagged an interesting guy too, Brashard Perryman.
That's right.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So that's right. And so Perryman, here's the one thing about Perryman too is, he's a guy who, like, when he finally got his opportunity, because he's been injured for the most part. He was, I think, if I remember correctly, he was like a first round pick by the Ravens even, and then he just kind of floated around. He was kind of just kind of roster depth because he never could seem to find playing time because of injuries. You know what I mean? And so Perryman on one side and Mims on the other. I'm not mad at that for the Terminator.
Yeah, for real, man. In Perryman too, GM Joe Douglas now with the Jets, he was one of the guys that invested in Perryman. So it back in the Ravens.
So he was drafted. Yeah, that's right.
He has that connection, but back to Mims. I think this is an easy steal. Like I said, first round talent. He's 6'3". He's 215 pounds, and he also has crazy breakaway speed. This dude ran a 4.38.
That's what I'm saying.
At 6'3". 6'3". When he gets the ball, you're not going to catch this dude. And
we're going. So now we're going to a 4.3 speed type. You know what I'm saying? And we just coming from my man the Green Bean who ran a 4.4. And we've seen Darnold be able to get that ball to him way down the field on a number of occasions. I like the outlook for Mims, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And if you look at his stats too, he had a very successful career. He had
at Baylor. Yep.
Baylor. He was a beast, especially last year. He had 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, averaged over 15 yards a catch. And he's just consistent.
That's that air raid system. You know what I mean? That's that where there's going to be a lot of opportunities at Baylor for him. For him to get that big bomb because how the air raid system's predicated. I'll say one thing. I just hope Adam Gase doesn't treat him like a rookie right out the gate, because we've seen Adam Gase, even all the way back to his time with the Dolphins, where you know what I mean, he just for some reason just wouldn't floss his talent. You know what I mean? He would make these guys earn their keep, and it's hey man, sometimes these youngsters, sometimes you got, especially with these, with the youth nowadays, where you can't really yell at them or be mean to them. It might discourage their game. I'm not trying to say let's be sensitive to these guys, but hey, sometimes these youngsters, they might need to be eased in, and sometimes the best way to do that is throw them on the field. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And that might not have made sense when I said ease them in and throw them on the field, but you know what I mean? As in hey man, let's see what you got. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, a guy like that talented, you got to give him his reps. I totally agree. I mean, he's a great track record in college, and I think he was one of the more talented wide receivers. I'm still shocked that he's a Jet. I really didn't think he was going to fall all the way to 59.
Yeah.
And, to get a guy like that to replace Robbie Anderson, he's bigger than Robbie. I think more stronger than Robbie.
Robbie was 6'2", and I think or 6'1", 6'2" right?
Yeah, I think around 6'2", 6'3", I think. But the thing is that Robbie is, like you said, he's a string beat.
Yeah, that's why I called him that. That's why I called him the string beat. You feel me?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. That's a perfect way to describe him. And in terms of Mims, that dude is a big man, and he's strong, and he's athletic. And, the other thing I love is that he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. He's hungry to prove everyone who passed on him wrong. And I just love that coming right out the gate. That's gonna set the tone for him, and that's gonna make him really want to, show everybody his abilities, really prove everyone wrong that he actually is a legit wide receiver. And I think if they could, use him the right way. I know they have a great wide receiver room with Sean Jefferson, who played for the Patriots. He played 12 plus years in the NFL, and then obviously Hines Ward, Hall of Fame wide receiver. He's got some really good guys to lean on to really make him that legit player. I know the drop balls were the problem, but the more articles I read, the more I see that it's kind of over exaggerated. So I think that Mims, he has a place here, and he's got Darnold thrown to him. So all he needs to do is just make those necessary adjustments and prove everyone wrong. And I could see him, being an instant guy to make an impact for the Jets year one. And I also saw that he's already up there top 5 favorites to win Rookie of the Year, just because his situation, the chip on his shoulder. I mean.
And I mean,
on him.
He's kind of gonna he is kind of gonna go in there early on, where I could see Perryman, early on in the season drawing the number 1 coverage. So we might see him shine out the gate, and then what I mean. Then essentially, teams might, defensive coordinators might catch on if he's catching fire early, and then start sending number 1 coverage his way. But man, he's gonna get an opportunity to eat up some of these secondary coverages, man, early. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. He's not going to be the main guy that's concerned, and even, you still got another guy like Jamison Crowder, too, that you kind of have to keep your eye on, too.
And Le'Veon Bell is still a name brand enough where, they might stack the box, because, they were doing that on him last season, and, so, Mims, I think he'll win in single coverage, you know what I'm saying? And he's gonna get an opportunity, where single coverage is on him, you feel me? And with his size and his speed, woo!
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, his size, his speed, you don't really see a lot of guys like that. And he's that perfect guy, the perfect size, the perfect speed to really, for Sam Darnold especially, it's that number 1 target. That's what you want. You want a guy that is basically Denzel Mims. That's your dream guy, 6'3", 215.
Yeah.
But obviously,
and runs a 4.3. That's the one that's the caveat right there. Because even Perryman, if I remember correctly, I think he ran a 4.4 as well at his combine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Perriman's got some speed too as well. Yeah.
And that's what the NFL. The NFL is a copycat league. We just seen the Chiefs beat my Niners, and there's a team that's just everyone runs at least 4.4 or sub 4.4. You know what I mean? Like maybe besides Travis Kelce. You know what I mean? But like, it's crazy because that's what we're seeing that across the league right now. You know what I'm saying? And you guys got two burners on the outside that can go up and get it. And Mims, he also could be used as a red zone threat just with his size, with his height. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what you need. I mean, the Jets had struggled mightily last year in the red zone, so that's a guy who just, you throw it up and he's going to go get it. And if you've seen him in college, that's what he does best. He can. Oh yeah. He can jump over, any corner, any safety, and go grab that ball because he's not only big, but he is strong too. So
yeah, I mean, he had some nice contested catches, highlights. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, okay. So and that was the back of the second, right? So did you guys kept your original pick in the third round, right?
Yeah. So. The Jets actually had 3 third-round picks after that Seattle trade, and they end up trading the third rounder that they got from Seattle, ironically, with the New England Patriots, and they got the 125th and the 129th overall, which was 2 fourth-rounder picks for the next day, and then an additional 2021 sixth-rounder. So
not bad.
Then they sat at 2 third-rounders after they made that trade.
Nice. And then if I remember correctly, you guys went with like a hybrid, right? Like a hybrid safety / corner.
Yeah. So this trade, this draft pick kind of shocked me a bit as soon as they put it in, and it was Ashton Davis, safety out of California. Yeah. But the more I looked at him, the more it made sense. If he wasn't, I know he was sidelined for the combine and the draft process because he had groin surgery in December, but he was one of the more premier athletes there was, and viewed as a top 3 safety. He was this dude had a crazy story. He was actually a former track star.
Okay.
He walked on at Cal, wanted to play football, and he redshirted his first year, and he made the team, and then he ended up being a starter. He started his first 2 years at cornerback, and then he switched to safety, which he really thrived in, and he became one of the best safeties in the nation. So this dude could play safety. He could play corner. I view him more as, playing both safeties and maybe a nickel corner because he's so athletic and fast. He's a track star, so that dude can move.
Oh, yeah.
Just has he has a great nose for the ball. He's a great open field tackler. So, I actually end up liking this pick because he's so crazy athletic.
And I love Greg Williams, bro. I love him, bro. Like, I know people forget how dope he is. He's one of the dopest defensive minds in the game. And, like,
absolutely.
He got a bad rap, years back, with the Bounty Gate. That whole Bounty Gate nonsense, you know what I'm saying, where he was, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, he's a hell of a coach. And like, so, for some people that don't understand who Greg Williams is, might seem like a head scratcher with this Davis pickup, but, a safety, in Greg Williams' system is very important. I guess that's the understatement. It's an understatement to say, a certain position on defense is important more than the next, but what I'm saying? They're not trying to get beat on any of these deep balls. You know what I'm saying? They're not, like you said, you could drop him into coverage at the nickel. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like say you got a guy like Edelman or something like that, or even an Albert Wilson from the, or even a Cole Beasley. You know what I mean? Like this motherfucker could drop down in that nickel and be able to, you know what I'm saying? Be able to keep up with these smaller, shiftier guys too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro. I mean, you absolutely nailed it. I was just going to bring that up. Greg Williams, this is a perfect guy for Greg Williams.
Oh, yeah.
he loves that guy. He loves guys that can contribute to more than one position, and he makes that known. He wants safeties to play corners and corners to play safeties. He doesn't want one guy committed to one position. If you're on Greg Williams' defense, you got to be ready to do a little bit of everything. And I think, Davis can do a little bit of everything. He also even returned punts and kicks. He was a big role in special teams, too. So the more and more I looked into this kid, the more I liked the pick. It made sense. I don't think he'll be just a safety. You got Jamal Adams, you got Marcus May, and to all those people that are reading into the Jamal Adams trades, he isn't going to get traded.
I was on that hype train because I like to make crazy, bold predictions. You know what I mean?
I respect that, though.
Yeah, but you know what, though, too, is like Greg Williams would have been that motherfucker in that office, stopping all that nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would have been like, fuck no. Yeah, oh yeah. You know what I mean? He would have put a hit out on Adam Gase or some shit. You know what I mean? We know what Greg Williams can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Greg Williams, don't mess around with him. Like you said, Greg Williams is like one of the best defensive-minded coaches. And if people didn't follow the Jets last year, you probably didn't because they went 7-9, but they were decimated with injuries, the most in the NFL. And in fact, they actually had the second most injuries in the last 2 decades. So,
dang, that's a crazy stat.
Yeah, it is a crazy stat. And actually, like, they lost some really good playmakers on the defensive side.
And early, like C.J. Mosley goes down early. You know what I'm saying? What was it? Your guys' first round draft pick last year, he was hurt.
Quentin Williams.
Yep, he was hurt most of the time. Yeah.
And Avery Williamson the year before, who led the team in tackles towards ACL in the last preseason game. Thanks to Adam Gase for leaving him in the third quarter for some reason, but we'll forget about that.
That's Adam. I mean, you know what's funny? We say for some reason, but we've seen enough of Adam Gase where it's like he does fuck shit like that all the fucking time.
No, man. To all you listening right now, I'm not an Adam Gase guy, but I'm a Jets guy, so I
think everybody agrees with you in the history of the world.
Absolutely.
Like, Adam Gase made his hay being the OC for Peyton Manning, and when you're the OC for Peyton Manning, you're pretty much just holding the clipboard because he's calling all the plays. You know what I mean? And then I will give Adam Gase this credit though. When his little stint as the OC with the Chicago Bears, he did make Jay Cutler, who is another wild man, type of gunslinger. He had a career year out of Cutler, so I'll give him that much. But and you know what? How about this? I forgot that he even got Tannehill into the playoffs. Well, not quite, because remember, Tannehill ended up getting hurt early. Or right before the playoffs, and then Matt Moore started. You know what I mean? But
that was impressive that he got Matt Moore, and that was his first year, so it kind of looked like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, but then the next year, everyone figured him out, and you know what I mean. And then he tried to do the Cutler thing again. But yeah, man, I'm still gonna reserve my opinion on Adam Gase until because I think with Greg Williams there and all those pieces on defense right now that you just named, even and all those injuries, like you get them all healthy, man, it's gonna be some shit. And okay, well speaking of your front, because we're talking about some guys that got hurt from your front seven. Didn't you guys so after that pick you guys drafted a pass rusher, right?
Yeah, they did. Really, much needed edge rusher. That was a position that they wanted to really look into in the free agent market, but it didn't end up going their way. So they ended up going DN Jabari Zuniga from Florida. And, his season was cut.
Call him DG? Because that motherfucker name's hella complicated. Say his name again. Right. Can you say that?
Jabari Zuniga.
Yeah. Yo, that's a hell of a name, though. It sounds like a country in Africa, for real. You know what
I mean? He only played 5 games his senior year, but then after injury, he had a high ankle sprain, and that's really what killed his draft stock. So
Well, you know a high ankle sprain too, man. Think about it. High ankle sprain can go anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. How many games is there? Like 10 to 12 in a college. You know, like if you get into the playoffs, what is it like? 10 to 14 maybe 10 to 13. Because like it's 10 games right in the regular college season. So you know he essentially missed half of it. Like you said, he only played 5 games. So you know what I mean? Like so I think that could even be an extreme value right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, he like you said, he missed like half the season, especially in the college season. And if it was NFL season, we may have seen him back again. But with the high ankle sprain in the college season, you're pretty much done for. And but yeah, I mean, his track record is pretty impressive. He was a 4-year starter at Florida. He's a versatile player. He's athletic. He's explosive. And he just adds depth to a much-needed position that the Jets needed. But the injury is definitely a concern. I know he was injured his sophomore year as well, like his senior year. So that's really the only big concern I have with him.
Well, hey, I'm saying this jokingly, but it's almost like, all right, he's hurt. Go ahead, let's draft him since, you know what I'm saying, we got to keep this record of all the most hurt players for the last 20 years.
Seriously. I know, man. They always take risk on those guys that have that injury track record and hope things change, and sometimes it doesn't. But that was a guy with Tua too. So many people were scared to pick him because his injury record, but I guess that's a little different. His talent was, it can't go unnoticed how talented he was. So, a little different between a guy like.
High risk reward, I guess you could say.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what Jabari was. I would say, low risk, high reward type of guy. And I mean, if he stays healthy, then watch out, because he was viewed as a first round talent in the beginning, going to his senior year. I believe he would have probably been a first-round talent after his junior year, but he elected to go back one more year to Florida. So that really caused him to drop significantly and end up going 79th overall. But I think the Jets, if this dude can stay healthy, I think it's a solid pickup. I really wanted Bond from Wisconsin. That was the guy that I really wanted, outside linebacker. But I also know he could rush the quarterback really well. And that's what the Jets need, a guy who can just put pressure on the quarterback. They haven't done that well in a long time. We thought Leonard Williams was going to be the guy, but he was just a bust. He was a bust, man. Yeah. So
I'm so glad my Niners didn't go for him, because I remember it was like, There was some Leonard Williams truthers out there where it's like, and I was just like, no, we need Bosa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm thinking, my bad. No, you said Leonard Williams, my bad.
That was Quentin Williams. Yeah, they took.
Oh yeah, Leonard Williams was a total bust. You're right, dude.
Total bust.
Yeah.
And they ended up getting a third round for him with the Giants. So thank you, Giants fans, for giving us a decent value pick. And honestly, I think it might have been the Zuniga pick that they got from the Giants. I could be wrong, but yeah, man. I mean, I like the player. I know I have close friends that are really big Florida fans, so it was nice because the next guy as well, running back LaMichael Pirine, also from Florida. So
tell me about him, because that one was kind of puzzling, but Le'Veon Bell is up there in age, and I know he doesn't comp to a Le'Veon Bell, style wise, but what's funny is I almost need to keep my eyes on this kid, because we all have seen Adam Gase be like, well, Le'Veon Bell, he's arguably one of the best running backs in the game, but this kid right here, you know what I mean? This kid right here, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I won't be surprised if we start seeing more of a timeshare with this young kid.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Gase screwed Bell last year.
Yeah.
I mean, he really screwed him. And that's my hope, is that the Jets are really gearing up for that offensive line to give Bell that necessary help. But, I think Pirine is just a guy to go behind him. I don't see Bilal Powell or Ty Montgomery being I don't think Montgomery will be a Jet next year.
And those dudes are
up in the air too.
And those dudes are first of all, shout out to my man Bilal Powell. He was always one of those waiver wire pickups, those late round, Mr. Irrelevant draft pick where like he had some value, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because he can catch the ball and like, I'm not trying to say this to knock you guys by any means, but we've seen a lot of the Jets playing from behind in a lot of these games over the years, and like he would just rack up like 4 or 5 catches in the last 2 minutes, and like, I only fuck with PPR leagues, so it's like, I love the guy like Bilal Powell for the,
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm also a PPR guy, so and like. Not as quick as Bilal, but LaMichael's almost a mini version. He can kind of do what Bilal can. He's he's a great pass catcher out of the backfield, and that's what I really like to see. And not to go on notes, he's a 4-year starter at a legit SEC program in Florida.
Yeah.
So this kid he's no slouch. He did only run a 4.6.
So he went to the U? He went to the U?
He went to Florida, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So him and Zuniga were teammates.
Okay, word. So they're gonna room together at first. You know what I'm saying? They're like, cool.
Absolutely, those guys are gonna be boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they like the Florida guys, and they also traded for another Florida guy, Quincy Wilson too. But I'll explain that after we get through the picks.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, he's only 5'11", but like I said, he could break tackles. If you didn't watch tape on him, he can make defenders miss. And, he had, I think, almost 30 total touchdowns combined with rushing and receiving.
Damn.
Like, he really, really stood out. Yeah, he produced, and that's what you need. And what really stood out to me was that in 4 years, he only missed 2 games his whole career. He started every single other game.
So not only is he producing, but he's shown durability. And then I'm about to drop a real cliche line, but the best ability is availability, right?
Yeah, dude, you're absolutely right. And he's not that sexy running back like the early running backs with, Swift and who's that?
Taylor and then
Taylor,
Clyde Edwards, the Prince of Hell Air. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
The Fresh
I really
Prince
like
of
that
Hell
kid too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, but you're right. You know what though? He is. I mean, you're right. Shout out to Ty Montgomery. You know what I'm saying? But he's probably out. He's probably out of here. And he's injury prone, and he also has the sickle cell trait. And even if it's just a depth move, you know what I mean? He's gonna fit in that Bilal Powell or that Ty Montgomery role that you guys were using those players in last season. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I see this as a depth move. Le'Veon's our guy, and I think P. Ryan was just
to be fed.
Yeah, they need to feed that man because, especially with a more improved offensive line, they have no excuses now not to give 26 the ball 15 to 25 times.
Yeah, I was going to say 26 times even. I was like, you know what I'm saying? Give 26,
40 times, man.
Fuck it.
Like, feed him the rock because
and you'll be able to open up that play action. Like, Adam Gase, he has, at least before, he had a lot of play action in his play calling, but like you can't do that unless you're trying to emphasize the run. You know what I mean? And then boom, you know what I'm saying? Rip off that big play action down the field to Mims, you know what I'm saying? Or Perryman.
Yeah, and you know what else is like? Gase is such an idiot that he barely even utilized Bell out of the slot. Like, go ask Mike Tomlin what he did with Bell and how he was so great.
Yeah.
He utilized him.
Bell could run routes, man.
That dude could run routes better than most wide receivers, honestly. And I don't care that he missed a year, but everyone's acting like this dude is sitting on his couch when he wasn't playing. Like,
hell no, that motherfucker was jacked. He was he was ripped, and he was Le'Veon Bell got that dancing, that kind of footwork, dancing around, patient style, and of course it helped that he was when he came from the Steelers. They were like, always a top 5 line as far as all the metrics, pass protecting, run blocking, whatnot, and like he went to the Jets where it was like Like when he came from the Steelers, he averaged like 3.1 yards before contact, and then when he went to the Jets, that line they were giving up like I think it was like 1.8 yards before contact.
Awful.
Like yeah, and put it like this, bro. Like that Beckham draft pick is so great because man, last year you guys had to talk a guy coming out of retirement. Even remember that?
Yeah, Ryan Khalil, they had talked about retirement, and he should have stayed retired because
man.
Dude, he sucked.
He was a guy who clearly, with a season off, clearly wasn't staying game ready. Like we said, Le'Veon Bell. He was still training, and he was even he was even training with boxers and shit to work on his footwork. Like that dude we're talking about right now. He was just like, all right, I'll come back for a bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Khalil was on the fucking Doritos diet. Like he was not in the football shape, and that was the thing. The Jets are the 31st ranked offensive line in terms of the run, and 30th, in terms of the pass. So that just shows. You go back to me with that Becton pick. That's why it was so valuable, and it should be viewed as a sexy pick because you have playmakers behind center. You got Darnold, you got Bell. You need to give those guys protection and let them do what they can do when they actually have protection.
Bro, if you go back, right, because I started this series in particular, like probably a week before the season started, and bro, I tell you. Even like dating back to like before I was actually doing the podcast and like, just all my homies, they know how I feel about my man Darnold Schwarzenegger. I'm like, I was so excited for the Beckham pickup because I was like, finally we're gonna get this man some time in the pocket. Finally we're gonna get be able to get this man help with the run game so he could rip that play action off because, bro, listen. I felt bad for him with his first year under Adam Gaze's system, where goddamn he got mono for the first quarter of the year, and it was like, man, so he still had to get acclimated and I know preseason's preseason, but man, even in the preseason, it was like, okay, this, you know what I'm saying? They were marching down the field with every possession, and then I remember it was the Cowboys game, bro, the Cowboys game where I was like, okay. This is what I was telling everyone. This is what I tried to foresee. Because the Cowboys, they had a feisty defense. You know what I mean? And for the most part, you still had Byron Jones and bro. I just remember Robbie Anderson dogging that secondary. You know what I mean?
That 92-yard touchdown was nice.
Yeah, and he had another big reception in that game too. I think he had a 50-yarder in that game too. He was getting off nasty. But yeah, man, I know I might have sidetracked us a little too much. Let's go on to the next pick. What are we in? Now we're in the 5th round.
Yeah. So the Jets actually had 2 4th-rounders because.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, yeah. Let the lace the playmakers up.
Yeah. Well, actually, they had 3 4th-rounders, but second 4th-rounder, they went. Quarterback James Morgan out of Florida International, and we touched upon it when Darnold got mono. Jets fans saw firsthand how quickly things got out of hand once Darnold went down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was disgusting.
Yeah,
Luke Falk was the worst quarterback I have ever seen in my entire life of watching football.
I remember losing, bro. I was smashing someone. I was smashing someone so tough that week. Again, that you guys played the Eagles, and then this dude had the Eagles defense against me, and I was like, son of a bitch, because they just destroyed Falk.
That's a quick 30 points for the Eagles defense.
They put up 40 in our scoring format. It was and I was winning by something 25, where it was you know what I mean, where it was okay, I'm feeling good about this, and then that's all he had left was the goddamn Eagles D and. Oh man, but yeah. So I'm interested in that kid Morgan because you know what I'm saying. Like you said, that's all they really had, on their roster. They don't have no veterans over there, because I know for the longest time it was Josh McCown that was just he was kind of lacing the youngsters up for a couple years over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I loved Uncle Josh. He was a great. He was a great mentor.
Oh yeah,
he was a great mentor, and they got David Fales over there too. He's been around the block.
Oh yeah, he's a career backup. Yep.
Yeah, career backup, but I see Morgan as the QB too. I mean, he just, he could develop. He's pretty raw, but the dude's big. He's 6'4". I liked his, just going by tape, I liked his pocket presence. He was viewed as to have one of the strongest arms in the draft, and he actually really caught everyone's attention at the Senior Bowl because I know that Greg Williams' son actually played with James Morgan at Florida International.
So he might have gave him he might have put in a good word too.
Oh, absolutely. He's probably like, listen, Pops, like this guy can. He's got some raw talent, and he most definitely does.
But he definitely has the prototypical size though that you want in a pocket passer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I like this pick over because, I had everyone blowing up my phone and was like, why aren't you taking Jake Fromm? Dude, we don't need Jake Fromm. That's just going to cause headaches in that QB room. If the Jets go 1-3, everyone's going to be like, where's Fromm?
Yeah, that's true.
Bench Darnold. Like, it's going to happen with the Bills. Mark my words. If Josh Allen, with all the expectations with the Bills, they go 2-3, everyone's gonna want Fromm now, and that's just gonna cause a shit show in the Buffalo quarterback room. So
as much as I am a Darnold Schwarzenegger truther, I'm like tenfold times that when it comes to my man Josh Allen, the Stallion, the white Cam Newton, Vanilla Vic himself. You know what I mean? I love Josh Allen. I happen to think though Josh Allen's he's a real idiot. Like IQ wise, I mean he legit got stuck in a revolving door. Like you know what I mean when he was going to the combine. I heard. I think he was like on the way to the combine. He was leaving his hotel and he got trapped in a revolving door at the hotel.
I can believe that.
I know, right?
I totally believe that. Just looking at him. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm biased and I hate Josh Allen.
Yes, I know.
Just because, I'm a Jets guy. And I hear so much about, Allen being better than Darnold.
Or even now, people saying, the Bills, this is their division to win now, or their division to lose, and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
they haven't done anything.
Go on. Elaborate more on Morgan before we move on to the next guy.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it was a little risk to grab a quarterback that early, but the pick definitely made sense. I know, Joe Douglas wanted to really look at the quarterbacks in this draft, and I've been saying it. I knew the Jets had to look into a quarterback just because the tragedy they went through after losing Darnold, and let's hope that Darnold never gets hurt again because we need him on the field to even have a shot to compete. Yeah. But I think Morgan gives them that backup quarterback feel. I loved I loved Morgan's reaction to getting drafted. It always, hypes me up when guys are so pumped and emotional.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
His family was going nuts. It's a cool vibe.
He was so grateful. He was so happy.
He was.
Yeah, and man. I don't even think that man probably thought. I thought he probably might have thought he was gonna go undrafted even. You know what I mean? Like that late. I mean, and let alone be a fourth rounder. You know what I'm saying? Where it's it kind of shows that they wanted him. You know what I mean? They weren't just like, all right. You know what I mean? Like they seen the value there. You know what I mean? And with Darnold being a youngster, going out, probably making out with multiple girls, getting mono and shit. You know what I mean? Probably at a frat party where he shouldn't be. You know what I mean? I'd be forgetting he's a kid, man.
Right, man.
Like you're barely older than him.
I know, it's crazy. It's even crazy that I'm older than him.
That's what I'm saying. And you're barely older.
The fact that I'm freaking older than the guy who's supposed to be the future of the franchise. Absolutely. I mean, you want a guy that you feel comfortable with if something ever happened to Darnold. And I think that, this was the guy. And I think a lot of people were confused. I had, like I said, keep in touch with Jets fans. They're saying, why are you taking a running back and a quarterback or fourth rounders? But they want that depth in that position. They don't want to be totally screwed if those two dogs go down.
Yeah.
And Perrine, has that ability to be a productive running back when Bella's down. And same with Morgan. I think Morgan has a lot of work to do to actually be successful, but he's kind of like a project. He's big. He has a big arm. And NFL teams really drool about guys like that. They kind of work, especially if he's a backup. It's not like this guy's going to be the future franchise. Yeah. He's going to the future of the franchise and learn from him and learn from the quarterback's coaches. And I like the pick, and I love how grateful he was too. So it makes a lot of sense. I personally thought the Jets would go grab a quarterback in like the 6th round, but at the same time, I never want to see Luke Falk, ever
for real.
Field or Bryce Petty. They have some.
Oh, hold on. There was one more. There, not just Bryce Petty. Hackenberg.
Hackenberg never touched the field. He was the 2nd round pick. The biggest.
That's what I'm saying, though.
They picked him over Dak Prescott, man. Holy dude. Oh, my goodness. But I think those days are over. If any Jets fans, if Turn Up the Jets Nation is listening, we got a GM, Joe Douglas. He knows what he's doing. I really believe that. I'm not even being biased because usually I'm really tough on how the Jets pick players.
Think about this. Joe Douglas got pedigree where he came from, being around an Ozzie Newsome, being around, just that. Even just being around Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah.
If you didn't learn a thing or two, you're a dumbass. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, he was with the Ravens and then the Eagles when the Eagles won.
Oh, that's right. I was trying to remember. Yeah, I was trying to remember the last team. Yeah.
And the Jets actually won, the mess last year when they had McKegnon and they fired him after the draft and free agency. The Jets were actually trying to get him for quite some time, and the Eagles are like, hell no, we're not getting rid of this dude. That just shows that, this dude isn't even the GM, and they don't want to get rid of this guy. There's obviously something we don't know. This guy's obviously a pretty bright and intelligent guy. He's been around since 2000. And I mean, he's seen so many teams, go through where the Jets are at. Like the Eagles weren't all great. Nope. And look at the end, they won a Super Bowl. They beat Bill and Brady and the Patriots. Yeah. A guy that has that. Hey,
you were like an honorary Eagles fan that weekend.
Seriously. Oh yeah. So hard Eagles fan that day. That was a crazy Super Bowl. I was watching that game with probably about 10 Patriots fans, and I'm just sitting there and be like, hell yeah. So,
love it.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, I just think that Douglas actually has a clue now, and I don't think we're going to see Hackenbergs and Bryce Petty's and freaking Luke Falks going around, and that's why I like the Morgan pick. I mean, give them some depth.
You might say, it's time to turn up the Jets, right? You might say, right? It's time to turn up the Jets. Okay, so where are we at now? So we're now we are in the 5th round, right? Tell me about your 5th round pick, because as we're progressing, and I'm having, I'm getting more indulged. You know what I mean? Like I already threw the paper out. I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you, because then I don't know too much about these guys either to try to front. You know what I mean? These next guys.
Yeah, man, I got you. So actually, they had a 3rd, 4th round pick.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. Okay.
So Douglas traded 3 times. He traded down 3 times. And honestly, low-key, I think this was one of the best Jets draft picks. It was offensive tackle Cameron Clark from Charlotte.
Yeah, okay. You're right. I did see. I do remember watching this kid's tape. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I mean, they call him Big Cam for a reason. He's 6'5", 308 pounds. And you know what's really super cool? He actually has a tight friendship with Mekhi Becton. They both worked together in the last few off seasons.
Wow, that's a great intangible.
Yeah,
that's such a great intangible, because then it's not like your running back and your D end that both went to Florida, where it's like, okay, cool, there's familiarity. No, you said these guys know each other, so at the end of the day, and offensive linemen, you could have all the talent, but you need them to work as a unit, and that's why I said it's a great intangible, because they might already have some kind of chemistry, be able to put egos aside. But yeah, okay, yeah. So tell me more about Claire.
Yeah, man. So, they already had that established relationship. He was a multi-year starter at Charlotte, and what I've read is he's a tremendous leader. He was a captain, and I really looked at that too. A lot of those guys that got drafted from the Jets were captains, and I think that's a trait that a team like the Jets need. You need that young energy, that leader, that guy that wants to come in and win. And
you need some rah-rah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I want to take 53 Jamal Adams, not even just his talent, just his rah-rah, like you said, attitude, his energy, his leadership. And a thing that I really loved about this pick is that this dude actually can play every single position on the line. Center, guard, tackle, you name it. He was actually an all-American center coming out of high school, and he ended up playing tackle, but he also could play, and he also went to play guard as well. So that's a dude that Joe Douglas is looking for, because with the free agency pickups, he had guys that can play. He wanted guys that could play multiple positions on the offensive line. So if a guy got hurt, your backup tackle can maybe play guard or play center. And that's really what he was looking for. And this is the dude, he could play every position. And him alongside Becton, I mean, like they were calling Becton, Sam Darnold's personal bodyguard. I think he's got almost 2 bodyguards now in the league. To really have Sam.
And I hope they all kick it together too. I hope they all kick it in public. And so they could also be like, hold on, ladies, and they could goddamn keep all them young bitches away from Darnold so he don't get goddamn mono. Yeah, are you from? I know you were probably like a kid when. But do you remember? You ever seen Terminator 2, Judgment Day?
I have, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. I mean, so I kept saying that he got the Mono T1000. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? Like, yo,
seriously, man. Oh God, they just made Darnold into a human meme after that. Who knows how the guy could have got it just taking a sip of someone else's water, but
that is
obviously
true.
everyone.
Well, my version's better. I like my version.
Yeah.
He was having a threesome with 2 twin blondes. You know what I mean? Just fucking. Yeah.
Yeah, your version's a little better. I'd agree, but
yeah. That's tight, man. That's a great pickup.
Yeah, seriously, and I was happy that the Jets took another tackle, because I really wasn't sure if they were going to take another lineman, but, dude, they've been loading up on that line. They signed 3 key free agents, too. They signed Connor McGovern, who was the center for 2 years with the Denver Broncos, also could play guard, too. And then Greg Van Rooten, who was also a multi-year starter from the Carolina Panthers, and then George Fant, who's probably my least favorite out of the 3, but he was a tackle, could play left and right tackle. He was with the Seattle Seahawks. So they're really, like, they're beefing up that line. That was their main priority.
Let's go, Le'Veon Bell.
Dude, I can't wait to get to our fantasy picks, because, with them beefing up that line, that could give, Le'Veon Bell, he could be an absolute steal in the 4th or the 5th round. I mean, bro, in a fantasy draft.
I'm already doing mock drafts with other cats in the fantasy industry. Like I'm just, you know what I mean? Because it's like, people are always sending out invites like, yo, bro, you want to do a mock? And I'm like, hell yeah, you know what I mean? Because it's way better doing mocks with 11 other individuals than it where it's like I might have 2 or 3 and then the rest are all computers. Just, you know what I mean? Like, nah, I want that real human interaction to see where the world is actually putting these people. Because, you know what I'm saying? ADP will just be, you know what I mean? Basically according to rankings, you know what I mean? From the prior season. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I like seeing where the public is at, especially our peers in the industry. You know what I mean? Like, I like seeing where their head is at with players. And a lot of people are still, are on recency bias with Le'Veon Bell. They're just pissed. So he's falling to the 4th, and like you said, I've seen him in the 5th a couple times, where I was like, I'm gonna take him right here, and then someone would snag him, and I'd be like, damn. But still, the fact that he's falling like that, woo!
I know, man. He could be like that steal. He totally can.
Him and Melvin Gordon too. Just side note, because Melvin Gordon, people are kind of sketchy on him too. Like, But it's like he's going over there to Denver with the Pat Shurmur system, and like I'm just saying, these guys being in the 4th and 5th round, it's you almost never find, like top, high upside starters at that position. You know what I mean? Like when you're outside of the 3rd round, basically. You know what I mean? You're looking at flex guys by then, but those guys are, you know what I mean? Those guys could be your, your RB1s. You know what I'm saying? Type of shit.
Yeah, I mean, just think, Bell had one off year last year. It's because he had the worst offensive line ever. And
you know what? Let's put an end to that. Because you know what I'm saying? Damn, I got all this shit going on my computer. Can you just look up Le'Veon Bell's stat line from last year? Because I know it wasn't that bad. Just in my recollection.
It really wasn't as bad as everyone thought. It's just because, Le'Veon Bell is such a tremendous player.
Yeah.
I mean, over his last...
People are, we've been spoiled by watching him play. Like, the expectation was too high.
Yeah, and I mean, like, his down year could be someone's breakout year. So, I mean, he had 789 rushing yards.
And he only played, 13 full games?
And he also had 461 receiving yards. So, he technically still had 1,000 total yards.
So, if you give me that this year, just if that's a floor, if that's his floor, and I'm getting him in the 4th or 5th round, man, sign me up for some Lev Bell.
Absolutely, man. We're turning up Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, we're turning up. Hey, Bell, we're turning up. We're gonna rock the bells. You know what I'm saying? Since it is New York, right? We're some LL Cool J references. We're gonna rock the bells while we turn up the Jets. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's continue to keep it moving. So where we at? So we went from Claire to lineman.
Yep, and now we're moving on to the 5th round here.
Okay.
And this was another pick that, like Zuniga, Bryce Hall, corner out of Virginia.
Okay. Much needed.
Yeah, they need a corner.
Trumaine Johnson, it's kind of he never panned out. And he was really nasty coming out of the Rams. Like, I actually wanted him for my Niners at the time. I think it was like 3 years ago. And then
he was a top 5 corner at that point.
But I don't know, it's crazy.
He screwed us. I mean,
and then they just Adam Gase started doing Adam Gase things where he was straight up not even starting the kid, where it was just like destroying the kid's confidence. And I remember being pissed about that. You know what I mean? Because,
yeah, well, he was a locker room problem too. I guess he was a head case.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. He actually, I remember the last day of the media days in week 17. He was just a real jerk to all the media people, and like such a dick. So I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah, you don't want that. That's a plague for the locker room. Yeah.
Especially with a young team. You don't want your veterans to be like that. You want your veterans to be those lead by example guys, and that's why I love CJ Mosley so much too. Yeah. Because he's just down to earth and he's nasty. I mean, when he's healthy, obviously, like he got screwed last year, but at the same time, I mean, you want those veterans to be that lead by example type of dude. And
what happened? Was it like a groin? I remember it happened like week 1, I believe, like against the Bills.
Yeah. So honestly, the Jets up 16-0. Everything's going great, and he hurts his groin, out for the game, and right after that, the Bills come back and win 17-16, and then
I can't lie, that game was a thriller though. That was a hell of an opener.
It was a heartbreaker. Yeah, it was a great game. It was totally a great week 1 game.
For me, having nothing but like fantasy implications, I say that to be with no bias, but yes, I get it because it was like for people that for the Jets too, it was like okay, because Darnold, he came out the gate looking smooth right there though. I can't lie, like, and if I remember, wasn't it like a bad weather game too? It was like raining and shit. All right. No. Never mind. It wasn't raining. Yeah. Either way, though, man. Yeah, that was crazy because that started the whole Josh Allen comeback. I think he led the league in comebacks last year.
He did, and I mean, I think he did. I mean, he was definitely a come from behind type of dude.
Yeah, because he's also a put him in the hole type of dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
absolutely.
I think you guys even had like a pick six on that ass early, or you guys had some kind of defensive score.
Yeah, Mosley had a pick six.
That's right. See,
early in the game, and he ended up being injured, and then the only game he came back to was the Patriots game, and he re-injured his groin again, and then he was done.
Yeah, Monday night.
And I think I might be wrong here, but I think he only missed 2 games prior to that in his career. And he only played 2 games with the Jets, so that just shows that the injuries sucked big time.
Yeah, man, that there is such a thing as sometimes you got some of those curses. You know what I mean? Like you said, 20 years of this shit. It's like, damn, that's just, I hate to say it, but it's like other people might be like, oh, that's a Jets thing. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, same old Jets. I hear it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I was like. Back to me being from Mass. I mean, I was literally like, I got shit on.
Yeah, you told me you were bullied and shit, so you must have gotten a lot of fights there.
Yeah, I mean, I kept my cool. I know it was all fun, but at the same time,
it got
super annoying.
I like that about you because now that after getting pretty deep into this pod. You know what I'm saying? One thing I have noticed the trend of these players that in your draft class that you like is when they have great off the field presence as well. You know what I mean? And like so I get it. You know what I mean? And I commend you for that. You not only did you stick to your guns, living in enemy territory, you also for the most part kept the peace. You know what I mean? Because we don't call them mass holes. I mean, they don't call them mass holes for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, absolutely, and you're totally right. Technically, I guess I am a Mass. I mean, I'm a Red Sox fan, ride or die, but I just remember one day it was the 2010 season. It was the year when the Jets were figuring out they had Rex Ryan, they had Sanchez in year 2, and
the
Sanchez that really just turned into the worst after that. But
wait, hold on. What year was this again? So I can remember with you.
This was 2010, so this is the Sanchez's second year.
Yeah, so this is the LaDainian LT's already there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
LT is
and you guys had a nasty defense.
Antonio Holmes.
Yep, Holmes there. Bro, you guys had a nasty defense though.
That was the old mean defense, ground and pound type team. That's why Sanchez was good for the first 2 years.
Well, of course, he had a bunch of veterans. All he had to do was steer the ship. That's all he had to do. And
that team was talented.
Fuck yeah! And you know what? I mean, it's no coincidence. 2 AFC championship appearances in a row, right?
Yep, 2 heartfelt losses in a row as well.
Yeah, man. I remember wanting it so bad for LT, man.
Man, he deserved to get in.
Because he went through the same thing with his stint in the Chargers, when they, you know what I mean, they finally got there, and then he was hurt, or if not, it was Rivers was hurt, or you know what I mean. It was just, yeah, man.
Right. I mean, I wish we could have got in that year, but that year. So it was Monday night. Both teams were not into Monday night. I'm actually going to that game, and prior to that, I break my ankle playing football.
Oh shit!
And I'm in. So
you're on crutches at the game.
No. So this is I'm. Thankfully, I got off my crutches the week before that.
Okay.
So I'm in my boot, and I go to that game, and they lose.
Oh shit! You're 40, in high school.
I was young. I think I was in 8th grade. Honestly,
so
I was young.
High. Yeah, because I was gonna say, we're talking. Oh yeah, that's right. You're 13.
I'm 13.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
So they end up getting absolutely demolished, 48-3. And I come in to school the next day and go in the hallways, and no kidding, man, there's 15 people running to me and the Jets suck, blah blah blah, you suck, and teachers were yo, relax, leave them alone. And I was holy God. And ironically though, later on that season, the Jets did beat the Patriots. I wanted to clear that because that's probably my favorite memory of the Jets beating the Pats in the playoffs. I got the last laugh there, but
and you're over there. You're over there on one. You were 1 foot Like injured, like them Jets be injured. You know what I'm saying? Like he was injured like a real Jet.
Warrior, man. Seriously, it looked like I played in the freaking game.
That's funny. All right, so okay, let's go on to the next pick. So, because there definitely was a position of need at cornerback. You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, Greg Williams, you know, so he likes to keep an aggressive front where like his secondary gets a lot of contested passes and shit because there's gonna be a lot of pressure up front. So, you know what I mean? It was cornerback was a must, and to get one in the 5th round, if this kid pans out, extreme value. You know what I mean?
Yeah, extreme value. And I mean, before the injury, Bryce Hall was viewed as one of the best cornerbacks in college football. He actually led the nation in passes defended his junior year.
Damn, you guys really be like, oh, he's hurt? Move him up on the board. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, seriously, they always take those risks, like multiple guys. I mean, with Zuniga and with Hall, like those are the two guys that they really, I mean, yeah, they did fall tremendously because Hall was kind of viewed as a top 2 round guy as well before he got hurt. You know, he had the tools to be a legit corner. He's long, he's lanky. He kind of reminded me of Antonio Cromartie, which kind of.
I remember Cromartie. There, you know, there's like 6 of them.
Cromartie.
Bro, there was hella Cromarties. There's hella brothers. It's crazy.
Yeah. Do you remember when they were on Hard Knocks and he was trying to name all his kids and he literally lost count at like 5 kids? It's like, dude, how many kids do you have, dude?
Shit, I remember that, bro. Those were like the Revis years.
Yeah, those were like the 2 Rex Ryan years that the Jets were, contenders. But
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I like Hall. He's more of a man-to-man corner. He thrives off press coverage, and people really view him as a shutdown corner.
You could put him out on an island because that's what that's Greg Williams' style. You know what I'm saying? And
absolutely,
yeah, man, he's gonna jam him up at the line with that size. You know what I'm saying? Lengthy ass arms, man. Yeah, he's a prototypical Greg Williams corner, man.
Yeah, dude, he really is, and
that's a steal.
I mean, it is a steal. I think it was a steal. Like he only had 5 career interceptions, and the more I looked into him, it was because teams didn't
want to throw the ball at him
his way. Yeah, exactly.
So you might say Hall could be one of the greatest values in this Hall. You feel?
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I love it. And seriously, you're totally right, dude. I mean, like, if people don't know who Bryce Hall is, Google him, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. And like I said, I'm preaching it. I'm not that biased Jets fan. I've been through it all. So, like, when I see someone that I like, I'm obviously, I'm gonna brag about him. And
Joe Douglas, he you know what I'm saying? He's changing the culture clearly.
Absolutely. And like Gase actually came out today and said, like, we're finally going that right way. And I think it's all Joe Douglas. It really is. And this pick was similar to a guy they took last year. I don't know if you heard about him, cornerback Blesson Austin.
Yep. He
was from Rutgers, got drafted 6th round, same thing, injury issues, and he was actually held out.
Of course he had injury. That's part of the prerequisites to be a Jet. You know what I'm saying? They're like, we got to keep this thing going for another decade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's like, oh, he's injured.
We got to keep the record.
Seriously. And, like, fortunately, though, when he came back, he made some noise, and he had energy, and he was really good. I would say, second half, he was the Jets' best cornerback, and he was a 6th round value. So I kind of look at Hall the same way, 5th round value. Only had that injury though, so prior to being injured, he only missed 3 games in his previous 3 years. So that's the thing that made me feel
y'all
good.
Still got, and then you got that exciting new safety who's probably going to play a lot of nickel as well, and then you got just beastie as fuck Jamal Adams, man amongst boys and shit. That secondary, it's shaping up to look, man. You know what's crazy is like this is the 2nd episode, right, of this particular series as far as like 2020 recaps where I'm going around, I'm touting the different the different analysts out there like yourself, and like I just had a guy on here. Pause. I just had a motherfucker on here a couple of days ago. I'm actually dropping that episode this week, but he covered the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? I got a Texans guy coming up. My boy Miles. Shout to the Peacock. You know what I'm saying? I got my man from Jersey. What's his name? Laquan. He's a Real Deal Fantasy, and he's a Rams fan, oddly enough, being from Jersey. So like, I'm just scheduling out all, you know what I mean, where I can get some, cause you know what I'm saying, like I'm a Niner fan, but at the same time too, I try to cover every single team. So it's like, even the way me and you're talking about the Jets, I could talk some Jets with you because like I paid attention for so long to the Jets or try to at least every team where, you know what I mean, where we could sit and have a combo, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, yeah. Okay, but yeah, so your secondary looks like it's going to have some really high upside, you know what I mean?
For sure. I definitely, and I mean, they also got a guy back for 1 year, Brian Poole, who's actually, I know like the Pro Football Focus stats are kind of a little phony.
Yeah,
it's kind of
I don't like how they
baseball,
bro. I don't like how they changed it to the coloration, like with the grades. Like now they're giving the grades. I liked it better when it was all numbers and percentages because then it's like that's more realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just all numbers, but I mean, he was ranked 9th overall, so I was like, okay. I mean, maybe I can
exactly because then there's some metrics like you can look at contested catch rates or the A dot they're giving up or shit like that where like, but now it's like, oh, he's a C plus, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? Or it's like you get the color coordinating shit, you know what I mean? Like, bro, like I think this might be one of the first years. I think I might still have to because I get pro football. I keep updating my subscription every year, just because like it's what I mean. Like I'm stat driven. I love I don't care for their articles like whatsoever. Like on everything. I only fuck with them for their advanced stats. That's it. And like when they changed it to the grading system last season, that pissed me off. Where it's like, come on, man. But yeah.
It's not really even a real stat. I totally agree.
Yeah. But also too, it's like I like to consider myself a film and stat guy, where it's like I really would only look at Pro Football Focus as far as like, especially for snap counts even, where it's like, because I consume my football watching Red Zone, and then I'd have my Niner game on the side, but like that's basically how I'm consuming my football every Sunday, and then like for everything I didn't see physically with my own too, I'd look at Pro Football Focus, you know what I mean, or like I would also fuck with Game Pass, and I'd watch like condensed games like on Monday mornings. You know what I mean? Like we're just like, let me go watch the 25-minute version of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been on that too. I mean, I need to get a Sunday ticket every year because the games aren't even aired in my area. So
no, I hear you.
I'm spending money every year to watch my Jets every year. Every game.
Do you still have a college email?
Yeah, so I actually used my girlfriend's last year, and
it'll only be like $100. It'll be like $100.
Yeah, right, $100. I mean, I'll take that all day to watch my Jets. 16 times a year. So, and they obviously you got those 2 games against the Patriots that we know that's going to be in my area, but
okay, let me ask you something. Let's veer off a little bit. How is that when you're walking up in a Gillette and you're decked out in gangrene? What is that like when you're walking up in that joint? Like,
oh man, I mean it's.
Are you with a lot of your friends that are Patriots fans at least? Where it's like, okay, cool, you're like you're at least your boys would, I would imagine, would be like, hey man, he's with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I figured like just growing up in the Bay Area, like if I went to a Niner Raider game and we're not even natural enemies, it's only territorial, it would be like, yo, motherfuckers is fighting, motherfuckers is getting stabbed. It was crazy, bro.
Dude, it is crazy. And I mean, I will say, Pats fans are absolutely ruthless. I would go with like my dad and my family when I was younger, and then I'd go with like,
and they're all Jets.
my good
You're
friends.
not the only Jets
Yeah,
fan.
No. My parents are Patriots fans.
Oh shit!
Yeah, dude.
That's funny.
I get sent down the basement when we're watching freaking Jets games. I'm not even allowed to watch the game with them.
I love it. Hey, I'm the same way though. At least, see, bro, my kids, they have no choice. They're all Niner fans. It's the same way with me. Like I'm Filipino American, where it was like I'm first generation born. I mean, I got a lot of Spanish blood in me too, but for the most part, I'm majority Filipino. But like my pops, he was 19 years old, came to San Francisco in 1978. You know what I'm saying? So he was there when the Zodiac Killer was around and shit like that. But then they drafted a guy named Joe Montana, and then all of a sudden they just fucking became this dynasty. And then I was born in the mid '80s. You know what I mean? So it was like there was no like my Niners of my recollection were Steve Young. You know what I mean? But like there was just no way I was never gonna be a Niner fan. My whole goddamn family is. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just where they migrated to. And then, as all my cousins and myself, we're all being born left and right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was, this is just, you know what I mean? Like, I think I got, like, one cousin who grew up in Pittsburgh, California, that's more East Bay. And so he's the one motherfucker that grew up a Raider fan because, he's just lost. You know what I mean? He's the lost soul.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Damn. But it's like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, we shit on him so bad. You know what I mean? So I commend you once again. I commend you.
Oh, I definitely got shit on. And I mean, like I told you, like my girlfriend, she's from the Bay Area. She's a 49ers fan.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Mrs. Turn Up the Jets. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Shout out.
She's part of the game.
Yeah, she is. And, I told her that, like, she wants me not to, make our future kids, like, Jets fans. Like, they get to choose. And, I mean, I totally respect that.
Okay, check this out. My sister, my older sister, her husband, my brother-in-law, he's an Italian, and he's from Jersey.
Italian.
So he grew up a Giants fan. He grew up in Jersey City. You know what I'm saying? But then when he was like, I think like in his teenage years, they moved out to Middleborough in Connecticut. So like I've been out to Connecticut like a number of times. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe not a number of times. I've been out there once. You know what I'm saying? But like you know what I'm saying? Like so his family, you know what I mean? They're like him and his dad. They're hardcore New York Giants fans. But then like the rest of the family, they're all Patriots fans. But it's like, you know what I mean? He's still partial to the Patriots because, he grew up in that area. You know what I mean? Essentially, right. As a teenager and on. You know what I mean? But still, it's like, it's so crazy because now to get to my point, my nephews, they will straight up, like, rock all the gear. They'll come through, Niner gear, come through Giants gear. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I guess, there is such a thing you could like to. I mean, maybe that's the future. I mean, that's not where I'm from. You know what I mean? I like my team. I stay loyal. It's like fuck everyone else too. If it comes to it, right? You know what I mean? But then it's like, no, I get it. You know what I mean? You gotta let the kids choose on their own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never know.
Absolutely.
You might. I mean, it's also an area thing, man. Like. You know what I mean? Maybe
there might be a Patriots fan who
exactly.
freaking knows, man.
It might be, depending on the territory you're in. You know what I mean?
And I totally respect whatever team, because like, look what team I root for, man. I mean, I have gotten so much shit, through my years of being a Jets fan.
But you know what though? On those times, those one or two times that you guys happen to beat the Patriots, that's just the quietness you get from all them for those times.
Oh yeah.
You didn't even have to talk shit. Just the fact that they was quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might have made it all worth it. Cause you could have took the easy route and just joined the evil empire. You know what I mean? Fuck that.
Absolutely.
Fuck
I mean,
that.
yeah. No, yeah. Absolutely, dude. I will never. I'm a Jets fan for life. So, and like, I'm telling you, man. I mean, Brady's gone now, so it's gonna be. Things are about to get interesting, and I actually got some friends telling me like, "Hey, don't count out the Jets," and I absolutely agree. But I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. But yeah, man. I mean, nothing has changed. I'm a crazy big fan. I'm kind of that guy that doesn't want anyone around me when I watch a game. Like, I am watching my game.
Yeah, we don't want their negative energy to roll off onto our team. You feel me?
The only time I roll Patriots fans is if I'm going to go to the game. Yeah, that's cool. Like, we hang out, we go to the game. But if I'm at home and the Pats are playing the Jets, I'm not inviting my boys over. Like, screw that.
When you're at the Pats tailgates, right? At the Pats tailgates, is there like a, how Bills Mafia, they're nutty. They be fucking lighting tables on fire and fucking suplexing each other through them and shit like that. But is the Pats joints like pretty tame? Like, wait, is there like a signature thing that the fans do? Like, kind of paint that picture for me, because I've never been to Gillette.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Pats fans are ruthless, especially towards me, because I'm a Jets fan, and I'm getting it more and more as I get older. So, when they see an older guy with a Jets jersey, they're gonna,
Yeah, it's not gonna try to beat a kid up or something. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I mean, I actually, when I was younger, I had a Plaxico Burrs jersey on in Gillette, and this guy was like, he was shitting on me. He was like, "Oh, don't shoot me, Plax." Like, and I was only a kid, so like.
No, that's funny though, because that motherfucker shot himself.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy. But honestly, I think the Jets fans might be crazier than the Pats fans in terms of tailgating.
So tell me how when you're turning up the Jets at the goddamn at MetLife, tell me about that, because I know you've been to some MetLife games.
Hell yeah! I mean,
fuck the Pats. I keep asking about the Pats. Fuck them. Fuck you, Stidham.
Yeah, right. Friggin' Jarrett Stidham. Give me a break. But I mean, the Jets fans, like, they're just diehard. And I mean, the thing is that a lot of these Patriots fans they grew up of winning. And that's all they know. So I think they're in for a rude awakening. But at the same time, with the Jets fans, these guys are diehards. They've been losing for, they haven't won a Super Bowl since 1968. So these guys are just diehards. And
I guarantee.
Yeah, he guaranteed, and he won, and that's the last time the Jets have seen any trophies. But I mean, those fans are diehard. They're with the team no matter what, and that's like really what I like. And I told you, early in the podcast, I loved how these Jets guys are. We're underdogs, and we're. Which, what I like to say, trust in the process, and I think the process is starting finally.
And you know what too? Hey, there's a blessing in disguise when he got the Mono T1000, because it helped secure more losses to get higher picks in the draft. Because then even when you think about it, you guys still finished, what'd you say, 7-9? Like, that's
7-9. Yeah,
that's under 500. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like. And still,
they started 1-7. They started the season 1-7. They won 6 out of their last 8. And so that's something to that's build off of.
Yeah, you said it. That's something to build off of. And in order to build on something, you got to have a solid foundation. And I think with Joe Douglas, that's what we're seeing, as well as the culture change. The fireman is somewhere out there going crazy. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. I met him, actually.
Really? He's like a legit celebrity if you're a Jets fan.
He's a legend, man. So actually, my first ever Jets game I went to was in the 2009 season. So it was Mark Sanchez's rookie year. They played the Falcons. Matty Ice. I actually had season tickets to BC when Matty Ice was the quarterback. So,
hey, man,
I had that.
So what, Dan, you were like 12 years old, right, by this time?
Oh yeah, man! 12 years. I think it was 7th grade. 12 years old.
Hey, so man, shout out to whoever took you to that game too, because that's a nice little drive coming from
Oh, yeah.
Massachusetts. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I've went from New York to Connecticut, and that's not that bad. That's like an hour at most. You know what I mean? Depending on the traffic and going across the bridge. You know what I mean? But like,
Right.
yeah, but yeah, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to that person that brought you to your first, real home game at the Jets. Get going.
Yeah, man. It was. It was my dad, and he's brought me to many
Shout out to your
games. And
pops, man.
shout out to my pops because he's brought me to so many games, and he doesn't even give a shit about the Jets. He just knows I do, and we went there.
That's
and
awesome.
A row in front of us. Guess who it is? It's Fireman Ed.
Fireman.
It's so crazy.
So you got
First
to
ever
do the
game.
whole chant with him and everything.
Hell yeah, man! It was crazy.
Fucking awesome.
It was definitely awesome. It was super nice guy. People like kind of give him a bad rep, say he's kind of like a goof, and but
Nah, man,
he's
he's
a super
an
nice
ill
guy.
hype man,
just-
bro. He's
Yeah,
forever. He's the 54th guy on the 53-man
Hell
roster. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. He's like, that's what I want to be, like that type of fan. Like that guy bleeds, green and white. So
Yeah.
he took a picture with me, and it was, it was just super cool to meet a guy like that. So that was a memory that I'll never forget for sure.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Okay, so now tell the Playmakers all about, Turn Up the Jets, the channel, and you know what I'm saying, and then we'll close this thing out, man.
Yeah, man. So Turn Up the Jets.
Let me get a little more specific. Tell them, about the channel, and tell them, what they should expect too, because I know this. It's a fairly new platform. You know what I mean? And I'm fairly new as well. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. To build grassroots with you. You know what I mean? And But yeah. So tell the Playmakers.
Absolutely, man. One thing though, I do want to say that the last pick the Jets got was.
We have one more
punter.
pick. Hold on, no. And I still got time. It's not even like I was in a rush at all. Let's go. No, tell me. I thought we were done with the picks. Yeah, the last pick.
Yeah. I just wanted to get in this pick real quick because he's a punter.
Y'all needed a punter for sure.
Yeah, dude. Texas A&M. I know Mel Kiper is a crazy guy, but he actually compared him to Shane Leckler, who also is a native of Texas A&M. This dude was number 1 ranked junior and his senior year as a punter. I know everyone, says, why the hell are you drafting a punter? But it's low-key one of the most important positions,
Yeah.
Or
what are you going to do? You're either going to draft one in the 7th round, right? Or was it 7th or 6th round?
It was the 6th round because they traded their last 6th round.
Yeah. So, it's a 6th round pick, and I'd rather do that than, spend the next, however many months waiting for you to bring punters in and try them out. Because it's like, with this whole corona climate confinement, that's smart. Because now you guys got one, you know what I mean? Where it's like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, or else you're going to have to just scrape the bottom of the barrel. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, they lost their punter, Lachlan Edwards. He's had his run here, but I mean, when I'm getting when this dude's getting comparisons to Shane Leckler, who is we don't know, a multi-year Pro Bowl punter. I know I'm raving about a punter, but if you're pinning them down, with a good defense, the punter becomes such a valuable asset to a team. So I just wanted to shout out to my.
It all goes hand in hand. It all goes hand in hand. If you're if you're a defensive minded team with a running back like Le'Veon Bell, and then you want if need be able to pin defenses back. I mean, opposing offenses back. You know what I'm saying? That's just all. It's a winning formula. You know what I mean?
It really is. Yeah, you want to pin them down, and with a good defense, you're looking good. And they call this dude Superman because his name's Braden Mann, and I love that. And
love it.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout him out, and I love that pick because you want a legit punter, you want a guy that pins them down in their own 10, their own 5. Especially with a defense that can kind of contribute to that. So that definitely goes a long way. So definitely want to shout out my man, Brady Man.
Okay, so they call him Superman. If a motherfucker's
Superman.
running... Oh, okay. I thought you said Superman. I was gonna say because if
Superman. No, yeah, Superman.
oh, okay, yeah, I had that right. Okay, because if a motherfucker's coming down, running, you know what I'm saying, and he's he's shaking all kind of special teamers, and he's coming down. Can this motherfucker tackle?
Yes, he actually can.
Because they call him Superman. I'm like, he better be able to tackle a motherfucker.
Yeah. They actually really credited his tackling ability.
Nice.
Yeah, and he said that like his goal wasn't to tackle people because he should have a good enough punt, but when someone going at him, like this dude will make a tackle. So I love those punters like Pat McAfee. Like he was the best at it.
Shout out to Pat McAfee.
Yeah, shout out to Pat McAfee.
Hey,
like,
you know what's crazy is I barely discovered his content. I mean, like, I want to say maybe 2 months ago. Like, you know what I mean? I remember him as a player, but then someone's like, yeah, Pat McAfee, and I kept hearing the name. I'm like, who, the punter? And then I'm like, he smokes weed. I'm like, oh, this is like low key, like my long lost homeboy. You know what I mean? Like,
his content's awesome. He's
oh
great.
Yeah, I fuck with McAfee, bro. Yeah. But yeah, that's and McAfee too. You're right. He would lay hat on a motherfucker coming down.
Yeah,
with his
he would mess some guys up. Like he was a good open field tackler.
Yeah.
But
now tell me all about Turn Up the Jets. You know what I'm saying, on YouTube, and you know what I'm saying. Also, all Playmakers, everybody subscribe to Turn Up the Jets, all one word on YouTube. But yeah, tell us about your channel and let the Playmakers know what to expect.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And I just want to throw it out there. Like, this has been super cool. Definitely want to, link up with you again. I'm super happy. I'm super happy to have you as a contact. I know the Niners and the Jets play this year too. So
yeah. You know, this is a precursor.
That could be something cool.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You already know. Hey man,
hell yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. If it comes down to it, where it's in, because I always make a point to go to one away game. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's in New York. It's gonna be in New York.
And you know what I'm saying? Granted, hopefully, I mean, have you heard about them talking about like October 15th being the start date? Thursday, October 15th, talking about pushing the Super Bowl back to like February 28th. Like, so it's
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, man. Like you know what I mean? But I'm just saying though, like, if this is, everybody, with that said too, everybody stay on the fucking side so we can have football. Just everyone, you know what I mean? It's, all this, social gathering, because people have been antsy. It's been a couple months now. People are like, oh, I'm good. And they want to go outside again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in California. Motherfuckers are going to the beach because the weather's been cool. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? Because you've been in Northern Cali. Northern Cali gets cold. It's not like LA and shit. But like, we still got Santa Cruz and stuff and Monterey Bay. But it's like, motherfuckers are going out to the beach. I'm like, yo, stay your ass the fuck home. You're going to have to ruin my football. You know what I'm saying?
I know, right? Just stay home.
And that sounded selfish, but because, even just for people's safety, you know what I mean? Just, and so we don't fuck up our football. Yeah, but okay, we see it.
Right.
So tell me, hey, I almost want to go for the record and interrupt you again, for the third time after I ask you, tell me about the channel.
No, man, you're good. Just got the new YouTube channel up. We had 2 videos over the last 2 weeks. Like I said earlier, I really want to post, once a week about, anything, the Jets. And, I'm not just a Jets guy. I'm a football guy too. Just love the NFL as well. So I can kind of talk about, whatever's going around with football. So I'd appreciate anyone who would come to subscribe me. And even if you hate the Jets, I promise you that, you won't be disappointed. I can put up some really good NFL content as well. And onto my Instagram page, shout out to everyone who's followed me. I hit 1,000 followers a few weeks back.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for almost...
That's the part I would have hit the Jamaican horns, but them motherfuckers was tweaking out earlier. It wasn't working for some reason. I was like, I felt hella bad. I'm like, because there's, I like to hit Jamaican horns whenever somebody says something that I agree with. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, but go on.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, I hit 1,000 followers a few weeks ago. I just started this YouTube, the YouTube channel, like I said, 2 weeks ago. Instagram, I've been grinding since 2018. We've had ups, we've had downs, but right now, as crazy as the world is right now, it's really giving me my time to really put in the hard work, put in that content, meet great people.
They giving us lemons. Guess what we doing? Making lemonade. You feel me?
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? I might throw some vodka in my lemonade too, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, okay, go on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I've met great people over Instagram, especially during this time, like yourself. Again, I appreciate you, man, so much for getting me on.
Hey, I appreciate you and your content, man. Like, I'm scrolling through. Like I said, I was already following you, and like I would just, your page was just, it was insightful on, you're a true fan. I appreciated it on many levels where it was like, let me message this dude because he would be, I already knew we would be able to make great content. Like you would be a great collab, and also too is like, you know what I mean? Like I am the GMM network where like the key word is network. It's like, you know what I mean? And I figured me and my co-host, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the guru, me and the goo, we started this thing like, it was an idea like 2 years ago. And then like, I was behind the ball when 2018 started and I was like, you know what? I'm jumping on this thing for sure. And I remember we dropped our first episode, it's like a prediction. Like it was all about predictions for the 2019 season. And then we were 3 to 4 episodes a week, every week. And we stayed consistent. And then, once we got into the actual playoffs, the NFL playoffs, you know what I mean? I was like, it's time. I'm reaching out. I'm networking. You know what I mean? Like I have resume.
Absolutely.
Because it's like more people could take me serious too. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? Like I am a character. I am me. But I do take this very serious. And like, so I sought out to find motherfuckers just like me. Not necessarily like I'm looking for someone who's just like me. No, I'm just looking for people who loves it like me. And we all have that common denominator. You know what I mean? Like if you got a passion for it, that's something I have a knack for recognizing. So that's why I definitely reached out to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, absolutely. And I remember when you hit me up on Instagram, we were going back and forth, and I was just like, dude, like we're like him and we're gonna connect so well. Different teams, but like the same mentality.
Yeah.
We love the game.
I was able to talk some Jets with you too. You know what I mean? Like I said, I try to be well versed in every team, you know what I mean? Like I love my team, but when it comes to fantasy, I gotta know everything. And then it also helps my reality take, because also during the course of the year we do spread pick shows and stuff. So it's like I'm paying attention to everything, man. I have an appreciation and an affinity for almost all the teams. There is some teams I hate, can't stand the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? Just because of they're my unnatural enemies. You know what I mean? The Cowboys, they are my natural enemies for decades. You know what I'm saying?
And the Patriots.
And the Patriots, just because they were just always winning. It's
they always win.
Yeah, where you just get tired of it. But I will tell you this much. Brady was somebody in particular, him and Aaron Rodgers, I claimed them because they're Niner fans growing up and they wanted to play for the Niners. And then because the Niners both passed on both of them, they had this chip on the shoulder, and it just made them great. So that's my claim to fame with them. You know what I mean? Like that their favorite team, which is also mine, consciously passed on them, and then they went on to be great in spite of it. You know what I mean? Some bitches.
Yeah, man. I know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are just going to be, Hall of Famers and wanting to play for your team. But hey, I mean, you're in a good position now. You got some.
We got Shanahan.
You got some good dudes.
We got Shanahan. And he has great pedigree.
You got Jimmy G.
I mean, you know what? I like Jimmy. He's a handsome young man. You know what I'm saying? But
he is.
I think he does still have some upside, though. I mean, you know what I mean? I think because if you're familiar with Shanahan's system, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of rollouts and bootlegs, and we weren't able to do that because Jimmy G even said it last season, throughout the season that he felt if you asked him if he was 100%, he felt like he was like at 80 because he was still coming off the ACL. I think coming a few years removed off the injury. You know what I mean? We might see that playbook open up a little more for him. I mean, I can remember Matt Ryan, you know what I mean, in his second full season under Shanahan in Atlanta. He had an MVP caliber season, or he actually was MVP. I'm not gonna say that's Jimmy G's ceiling, but his floor, I should say. But I feel like if there's still some upside to be had. You know what I mean? Because he really didn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely a defense-minded team. Run first. You know what I'm saying? We're a heavy zone run team. And, you know what I mean? I think if we can get our kicker game strong, you know what I'm saying? Because we still got to figure out what we're going to do with Robbie Gold because we franchise tagged him. And, because other than that, we would have had, a 15-1 season if our kicker game was cool. Because, Robbie Gold fucked the game up for us. And then, I think McLaughlin was his name. I forget his name. He came in when Robbie Gold was hurt.
Yeah.
He lost that Monday
Seattle game.
Exactly, and I was at that game.
Yeah.
That was, really? I'm a season ticket holder, so I'm at all the games. You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
My girlfriend and I were watching that game because of her, and that was a crazy game. That dude he did make some clutch field goals in the middle of that game too. But to put a guy in that line, they just signed him off the street.
For Jimmy to get us in overtime, to get us down, to get us down the field in position, and you know what I'm saying, I pay more attention to that, where it's motherfuckers be like, oh, fucking Jimmy G, these fans who don't quite know what they're talking about, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, bro, I can't stand that. Where I'm like, bro, why you hating on Jimmy so much? He got us right in position. The kicker missed the field goal. That had nothing to do with Jimmy G. You know what I mean? Or even I had this saying all season that we were winning ugly with handsome Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? That was my whole thing. Just winning ugly with handsome Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Playmakers. I want y'all to get on that IG and follow up turn_the_Jets with 2 S's. And I want you to be sure to subscribe to Turn Up the Jets on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I got one more thing. 7-9 was your last year's record. Under or over 7-9?
Yeah, so,
Jets.
I mean, I go floor 8-8, ceiling 10-6. A lot, I've been on live numerous times, and shout out to one of my dudes, Mighty Jets, too. I've been on
shout out to Mighty Jets. Oh, yeah. I think I follow him too, man. Yeah, big up.
Yeah, man, he's a great dude. He's great, and him and I have been collabing a little bit, and
that is what it's about, bro. We gotta build this thing, divide and conquer.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, and it's all about just collabing with others, and like I said, I mean, I'm so down to do more with you because even you come to my channel
exactly,
as well.
Man. You know what I'm saying? I'll slide through. I love making cameo appearances. Plus, this is what it's all about, man. We're building grassroots. You know what I mean? And this is why. I mean, and like I said, man, you could have had 10,000 followers or 20,000 followers or 1,000. If I didn't even look at the amount of followers, I was just like, yo, this dude knows his shit. You know what I'm saying? I got to holler. You feel me?
Yeah, dude, I appreciate it. Yeah, you follow me. You hit me up even before I had 1,000.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, the only positive that I had through this crazy, like you said, the apocalypse shit.
Yeah.
I've gained over 2 followers, man. I've been kind of grinding on my page, building,
and
more
that's what it's
of
about. Just stay on the grind. You are literally turning up the Jets. You know what I mean?
We are turning up the Jets. Yeah, just turning up every day.
Full
turning up the
speed.
Jets.
full speed ahead. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. And like exactly like just just collabing with other people. It's been super cool. And
yeah, that's a rule of thumb too, Playmakers. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's, you know what I mean? Teamwork makes the dream work, as they would say. But definitely, you know what I'm saying? And also, I like to believe we're a reflection of who we surround ourselves with. So you need to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. You know what I'm saying? It all comes full circle. You know what I mean? Joe, man, it was a pleasure. You know what I mean? Like, this is... Oh yeah, I forgot. I did have one more. Fantasy-wise, is there a guy we should look out for? I know we talked a lot about Le'Veon Bell having value, but, I mean, are we looking at Perriman or Mims as these late-round guys at all? Like double-digit round pickups?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I'm, like, as big of a fan I am of the Jets, I love me some fantasy football. And, like, other than Bell and Darnold, the guys who talked about, I love Perriman. Listen, everyone. He started 4 games last year. He had 36 receptions for 645 yards and six touchdowns, man. And in 4 games, he scored 3 against the Detroit Lions. I think this dude, once Godwin and Evans went down, this dude was the legitimate wide receiver 1 for the Bucs. He was the waiver wire pickup. Unfortunately, I missed out on him on my waiver wire.
He has a massive chip on his shoulder.
Oh, absolutely! Like he's a first round talent. This dude is hungry, and I really think that this guy could be a fantasy impact. I really do. And
he's definitely. I think he'll definitely be a flex start that could have
flex wide receiver 3.
Yeah, with potential to have a WR1 finish. You know what I mean? Because with him, you're looking for. I don't really see him as too much of a possession guy. You're looking for that big one.
No.
You're looking for that big one.
Play.
Yeah, you're looking for the big play. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, I've seen, man, you know what's crazy is like, he looked healthy. That was the most important thing last season, is that he looked like he had his speed because, bro, he spent his whole career being hurt. You know what I mean? And I like that call. Well, what about Mims? You think people are going to be too bullish on Mims? Because, like, and what's the situation? Is there still Quincy Enunwa? Because then if there's no Enunwa, I'm loving some Jamison Crowder late rounds in PPR also.
Yeah, I mean,
like as another one of
Quincy
those
Enunwa. Quincy Enunwa, I love him. I love
exactly. He's always gonna be one of those guys that I remember because like he was one of those dudes I'd pick up off the waiver and would just eat for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, but he just always got hurt.
Right, especially Sam Darnold's rookie year. He's just like shoved the ball to Enunwa, but
all of a sudden Enunwa was like, you know what it was too, because you guys never really had a true tight end, and I feel like young quarterbacks they always would lean on a tight end, and he was that big body guy that they would have him out the slot. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah! I mean, and like that I'll go back to the receivers quick, but once you mentioned the tight end, Sam Darnold actually he had the second highest QBR in the league behind Drew Brees when targeting the tight end last season.
Yeah, but how many times? Oh, yeah, he had Griffin there. That's right. I was going to say.
Yeah, Derek Griffin was a dude last year. Shout out because he's from New Hampshire, right near me.
Okay.
That's super cool.
Oh, Ryan Griffin. Yeah, that's his name. There you go. Is it Ryan Griffin? Okay, yeah. No, I thought you said Derek.
Yeah, Ryan Griffin.
There is a Derek. There is a Derek Griffin though out there somewhere, for sure.
Yeah, Ryan Griffin.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's from right near me as well. But yeah, I mean, like Enunwa has had those neck injuries, and I'm not really sure what his status is.
Yeah, I wonder if he's even going to get cleared to play ever again.
I don't even think he will, honestly. Yeah. It's tough to tell because he had neck injuries last year and in 2017 as well.
Yeah.
But Perriman, like you said, Perriman's like my low-key sleeper for a Jets player in terms of a fantasy standpoint.
Yeah.
The dude's only 26 too, so like, and he like the last 4 games he started when he was a legitimate starter.
I forgot.
He was the dude.
Yeah. Man, you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited to watch the Jets get feisty. You know what I mean? We do have this new 7th seed in each conference. So like,
hell yeah.
Even as a Niner fan, that makes me feel good that like, okay, at least we have a solid chance to get back in the dance. Like, if anyone, I'm pretty sure you're aware, like, if we had this last year, it would have been the Rams and the Steelers getting in as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, dog, the underdogs, like your Jets, you can't really count them out. You can't really count anyone out in that sense because of the 7th seed. But, man, with Greg Williams there and all that culture change, and I just hope the city of New York doesn't just eat them up. Because, anytime they're doing bad, it's also be them fans and the media that just shits on them too. So it's hopefully there's some positivity because Adam Gase, he kind of brings that dark cloud already as a coach and listen, if I wanted to be an asshole and you asked me 7-9, I would have said under, but I would have only been saying it with the greatest intentions because let's go ahead and get another losing season already and get this motherfucker Adam Gase fired and get him the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because...
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I think Adam Gase is like... The fact that Adam Gase is the only reason he's a coach is because the Jets got to, handpick that dude's staff.
Oh, yeah.
And... other than Adam Gase, I think the Jets did a really good job.
That's what I'm saying.
Staff.
Like, because Adam Gase could be
we could have had Matt Rule, but yeah, like,
but Gase was there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is what I'm saying. Like 7-9. I mean, say he gets 8-8, or say you guys go 8-8, or say you guys go 9-7, and that could even be enough to get into the dance, right?
Yeah.
Like. It would just keep him around, and it would just, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, if I could rank 32 coaches, he's definitely like 27 or 28. You know what I mean? Like, if I was to rank.
I agree.
And that's me putting extra on it, like shitting on him. You know what I mean? And
I agree with you as a Jets fan. So, man, like, he wasn't my top priority to hire as a coach. Like I said, I liked Matt Rule, who unfortunately went to the Panthers and took Robbie Anderson from us. The only reason why he didn't come to the Jets is because the Jets couldn't handpick his staff. And the Jets wanted to handpick Adam Gase's staff, and he allowed them to. But, I mean, at the same time, like, the Jets do have a good staff other than Adam Gase. Like, we talked about earlier, it was like Greg Williams is the best, like, easily a top 3 defensive coordinator.
It's just like because of his rap sheet. That's the only problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, the naughty things he done before. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I like your OC
and everyone,
too. Like,
sorry to interrupt, but like anyone that doesn't know how good Greg Williams is, when I went back to the Jets having the second most injuries, especially to the defense, still had the 7th ranked defense in the league last year. Like, that's crazy.
I mean,
that's crazy.
See, like, you know what's crazy too? Even when you guys had Todd Bowles, the only thing that sucked is that Todd Bowles is better as just a defensive coordinator. Like, look at what he did with he went when he went to Tampa Bay last year. He turned that thing around. You know what I mean? They were like bottom 5 defense. He made them a top 5. You know what I mean? Where it's like sometimes these guys are better off as coordinators than head coaches. But you know what, man? I'm excited to watch you turn the Jets up. You know what I'm saying, on your channel. You know what I mean? I encourage everybody, you know what I'm saying, to subscribe to Turn Up the Jets, all one word, on YouTube. Once again, that's Turn Up the Jets on YouTube. Make sure y'all hit subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be hearing more from this. He's now one of the GMM Network's counterparts. You know what I'm saying?
Hell
We're
yeah.
continuing to build this network, and it's divide and conquer, and it's just like the medieval days where motherfuckers had noblemen in every area, and you're definitely my nobleman that bears the Jets flag. You know what I'm saying? And I want to thank you again for coming on to the pod. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely not going to be the first time. I already know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt, dude.
Yeah, man.
Or
You know
this is the beginning, man. Like, absolutely. Like, this was super cool. So, shout out to you, dude, and shout out to anyone. Turn up the Jets Nation. I already posted on my Instagram, but go follow my man GMM Network.
Man,
like, this was
that, man.
Like, this is the start. I always want to get on podcasts, so whenever you hit me up, I'm there for you, dude.
Yeah, man, appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad. You know what I'm saying, that because this is gonna go down in the books too. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you did tell me that you're like, yo, I'm about to embark on this journey. You know what I mean? And like, I'm telling you, man, it's a, you know what I'm saying? It is an uphill climb. But you know what I'm saying? Just, you got peers like me that, and I'm climbing that same climb like you. And you know what's crazy? You know what I mean? Even if I might not be that much ahead of you by any means, but if anything mistake that I've made already prior, I'm always to make sure, you know what I'm saying, I could pass that knowledge on so you don't make the same mistakes I did, and we can continue to grow and further this thing down the long road. You feel me?
Hell yeah, man. I completely agree. I mean, I've just been trying to grow each and every day with this page. So, with like someone like yourself, I think this is
you know what it's a
win-win situation.
Like, bro, I just barely jumped on Twitter because like all my other peers are like in the fantasy industry. It lives on Twitter, bro. And I'm like, fuck, but I'm like, okay. And then like it was just like also like trying to fit this new thing into my repertoire. Like, all right, first I had to learn how to use Twitter because I ain't fucked with Twitter since like 2010. You know what I mean? And it was like, so I'm just saying, like, that's one thing I encourage you to do as well. You know what I mean? Jump on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I think I only have like 30 or 40 something followers, but like, you know what I mean? It's another one of those communities where it's like, if you post some shit that someone likes, they can retweet it to everyone that fucks with them, and like, shit can grow exponentially. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's just something like if you aren't already on it, you know what I mean? Don't deprive yourself of it. That's what I basically told myself too. Like, all right, you know what I mean? We gotta hit every avenue. We gotta turn this thing all the way up. You feel me? Pun intended.
Turn it up.
Well, yeah, for sure. Once again, this has been, you know what I'm saying? I want to say episode 50 or 60. I think this might be 60 even. It's like a milestone. You know what I'm saying? It's either, yeah. Am I dropping 50?
Let's
yeah,
go.
This is episode 60. Sick. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I might have had a few. It's either 59 or 60, but I'm pretty sure it's 60. You know what I mean? But I just want to, have a disclaimer just in case I'm wrong, so I don't sound stupid in hindsight. But anyways, man, thank you again, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The next part is fun too, man. Once we drop this one and, you know what I'm saying, we start promoting it, man, because I can't wait to debut you to all the playmakers that follow me on all my platforms. You know what I mean? Because you definitely know your shit. And I want to bring the most accurate depiction of reality football, fantasy football as much as I can. And you know what I'm saying? I had to go in and bring in the noblemen. You know what I'm saying, from the East that knows
Let's go.
how to turn the Jets up. To turn up the Jets. I'm sorry, I got dyslexic there. Turn up the Jets. Hey! Pew, 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 pew. You feel me?
Absolutely, bro. And with like all of Turn Up the Jets Nation too. I'll be posting this everywhere on my Instagram tomorrow. As soon as you drop this, let me know, and this will be all over my page. So
for sure,
this has been super cool, dude. For sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate you too, rocking the long episodes, cause like, to be honest, dog, I don't really do no short episodes. You know what I'm saying? And my analytics have been showing that people will come back and finish episodes. So like I really enjoy that, like, because like, you know what I'm saying, I like in-depth analysis. You know what I'm saying. One thing I do want to work on is like putting like time stamps where it's like, you know, so that you can put in the description like, hey, if you want to know about this player, just go to this time. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm still young in it, in that sense, my channel, where I'm like, you know what, you know what I mean? I like the followers and the views that we've been getting. It's been organic. You know what I mean? And kind of the same way I've been meeting all the people that I've been bringing on and to build the network up with. You know what I mean? Like yourself. You know what I'm saying? I like how the universe just kind of brings it all together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, I totally get that. And like, you've had like some long podcasts, and dude, honestly, like, I've watched and I've listened to every single second of it.
Man,
you know, before getting
that.
on here, I listened to every single second of your podcast. I totally fell in love with it, and I was so pumped that you asked me to come on. And you know, it's all about, and like everyone who's trying to make a page, it's all about that content, man. You know, I've been doing this for 2 years, but I feel like this has been kind of almost my peak. I've gone 1,000 followers. You know, I've gone. It's
starting to turn up for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
man.
For real.
We're starting to turn up. Like, you know, when I was at school, like, everyone was so supportive. Like, even people that were Pacers fans, they were yelling, "Turn up the Jets!" Like, and then I met someone like you, man, and I think this could be something that we could.
Oh, yeah. It's the start of a beautiful relationship, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hell
next thing
man.
you know,
absolutely.
Next thing you know, we're at the Niners-Jets game in New York. You know what I'm saying? And
for real, man.
And I want to preface this again before I really do close this one out, man. You know, in order for us to have that Niners-Jets games or games in general, playmakers, everybody, just, you know what I mean, like, stay quarantined. You know what I'm saying? As much as they tell us that we have to. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Or what do they call it? SIP. They call it the acronym is SIP. I think it's like stay in.
Stay indoors, or
I forget.
don't know.
It stood for something, but yeah, just you know what I mean. Let's not take this thing serious. You know what I mean. This is a real thing. You know what I'm saying. Let's not fuck around. You know what I mean.
Be safe.
And everybody be safe.
Be safe.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for
Hell
sure,
yeah.
Joe.